Hi friends, I am going to show you how to dye paper using ink and blowing bubbles. You get this cool design when you do that. It's super easy and it is so much fun. So these are some envelopes I did a while back so that I could make an envelope journal with them, which I haven't done yet, but that's what we're going to be making except in different colors. So I have two inks that I want to use. This is a really old Stampin' Up! Ink, and it's called Rose Royal. I haven't seen it before. I don't know what it's going to look like. It'll be a surprise. And then I have a Distress Spray. So this has the aerosol spray, but I'm just going to take the lid off and dump, oh, hello, Squeak. There's my kitty. Dump a little bit of this in our mixture. So what do we need to get started? You need a bowl. I'm using a glass bowl. Probably plastic would work just as well, but my brain said that the ink won't stick to this at all. So I have a plastic bowl. You need a straw. Pick one of those up just about anywhere. You need some water. So I'm going to dump a little bit of water in here now. And you need some dish soap. This is not measured. We're just winging it. I know that's hard. It's hard for me too. I don't know if this settles, so I'm going to shake it. And we're not going to put too much in to begin with because we can always make it darker, but we can't really make it lighter. I'm going to stir this up. And the paper that we're going to use today, I've got some scraps of cardstock here. I have more scraps of cardstock. I have some more envelopes. I have some book page out of a thesaurus. I have some index cards. I have some dictionary page. I have some graph paper, some notebook paper, some cardstock that either was flawed or that my printer messed up on. And then I have a piece of cardboard that I thought I'd try also. So we're just going to experiment with all of these today. See what we get. Okay, so our mixture looks like it's well combined here. Now we're just going to start blowing bubbles. Ready? So there's our bubbles. And then you're just going to take your paper, whatever it is you're dyeing, and you lay it over the bubbles. And can't hardly see that. Let's put some more ink in. And maybe just a wee bit more soap so we get more bubbles. Mix this up. And one of my kitties is right here, so don't be surprised if you see him again. Ready? There's our bubbles. And what you do when you lay your paper down there is you're basically popping the bubbles. And that's still pretty light. It's a very pretty pink. Don't know how well you can see that, but it is very pretty. I'm going to add some more because I want it just a little darker. I want us to be able to see that we did something. The amount of ink you put in will vary for sure based on the color you're using and how light or dark you want that color. There's our bubbles. Remember when you were little or you were in school and you used to like to blow bubbles in your chocolate milk and you got in trouble for it? You can blow bubbles all you want now and it's cool. You're not going to get in trouble for it. Okay? Takes a little bit of time to do it, but it sure is fun. Look at there. And it dries pretty fast too. So once you get it the way you like it, there's not really a wrong way either. So like right here, it's a little bit light. I want a little bit more right there. Blow more bubbles. And I'm going to target that one spot. just like that. We'll set this aside to dry for a little bit. Right there are some little tiny bubbles. I'm just going to pop those with my finger and set it aside to dry. Let's do an index card. By the way, this can be a little bit messy, so you might want to wear an apron, maybe gloves. I didn't, but you know, do what I say, not what I do. Just pop those bubbles on our paper. Look at that, isn't that pretty? And I'm going to try and get some of this area using those side bubbles. There we go. Oops. There, spilled a bunch on the side. We're just going to scoop that up. We're going to set that aside to dry. And I just have some, what is this? Freezer paper over here that I laid out to set my things on to dry. Okay, I'm going to use a piece of book page. Oh, the page is dark enough that doesn't show up too much, does it? This is just so much fun. You get to blow bubbles. You get to play with your food, except I wouldn't recommend eating it. Okay, isn't that pretty? Get the other side. And because you are holding this with your fingers, you can expect to get ink on your fingers. This is water soluble. It should wash off fairly easily. And I'm going to get this other side here. There we go. But if you don't want your fingers to get too messed up, you can either wear gloves or use some tweezers to hang on to your product, whatever it is you're dyeing. All right, I'm going to do one envelope here, and then I'm going to make another batch using this scorched timber. Let's see how that comes out. Look at there, big old bubbles. So this is a technique I did when I was a designer for Junetober. And I had some requests to give a little tutorial on how I did it. So it took me a while, but I did. And I'm going to set that aside to dry. And I want to show you this one. This is the first one we did. Other than one little spot right here, it's dry. The paper feels a little bit damp, but it's actually dry. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other side. Right there's some ink, no matter. Big old tower of bubbles there. Sorry, that would be my dog playing with her noisy bone on the kitchen floor. We have lots of animals in the house. We have 3 cats and 2 dogs. And anytime I get on the phone, it's definitely when they want to make noise. But that's okay, because I love them and they're cute. Sometimes I tell them, it's a good thing you're so cute. They're all adorable. So I think I want a little bit more right here. So you just target the area that you want to have a little more color. See there? All right, I am going to set this one aside. Get a new glass. There's some water. You might need a little more water in there. Some soap. Just give it a squeeze. This is, again, liquid dish soap. And this is a really strong color, so I'm not going to use very much of it. It says me. Look at that. That's dark. get a little bit more water. And I'm going to rinse my straw real quick. It looks like coffee. I have read or seen on YouTube where you can also use coffee instead of dye, and probably tea, probably anything that you can mix with water. It needs to be water-soluble ink, basically, or dye. Isn't that interesting? I got little bubbles this time. And not near as dark as I thought it was going to be. Here it's a little bit darker. I wonder, this is some pink. I think the pink that's on here was left over from Oversplash because it was right next to my cup. I wonder if I'm getting littler bubbles because I have a smaller bowl. There we go, that looks nice. Or maybe because I have a little bit more water, or a little different ratio of dish soap in here. You can definitely expect a little oversplash though. So just be prepared for that. Let me get this little area right here. And that edge right there. And then set that aside. You can use Vintage Photo. I know a lot of us like to use Vintage Photo. Oh, let's do a big page. Let's do page of graph paper. So this is pretty thin. This will be a nice experiment to see how this comes out. And then again, once they're dry, I will go back and do the other side. So this paper is so thin, it's curling pretty good. However, that should flatten out fairly decently once the paper dries. So much fun blowing bubbles. Isn't that pretty? You could also grab a coffee cup or something and place on the wet spots there while it's drying to give it more of a coffee stained look. Cup stain, cup ring. I think I like that one. Maybe a little more in the corner right here. I don't want to get too carried away. I don't want it to be too dark. Let's see. Let's try notebook paper. I might have two sheets here. I do. Felt just a wee bit thick there. Alright, I think you guys are getting the idea. I'm going to do a few more sheets on my own, and then I'll come back and show you the results. Alright, I did all the papers that I had here. See how they came out? Some are pink, some are gray. It's actually scorched timber was that color. Oh, and I was going to warn you that if you don't want your fingers to turn inky, you might want to wear gloves. I forgot that last time I did end up with purple fingers when I did my purple dye. Some of the paper I wrinkled up before I bubbled it. I'm going to call this a bubble. Some of it I didn't. I did find out, my discovery here is that on very porous paper, you really don't get much of a bubble effect. Even here you got some, but not as much. The book page was the worst. And let me see here, grab a piece of cardstock that I did. Cardstock was pretty thick and it came out pretty good. And then this is the piece of cardboard that I did. I did half in pink and half in gray. The bubbles showed up well there. Here's a cardstock with the pink. The pink actually dried darker than I expected, so I was happy about that. But the more porous the page, the less likely you are to get the bubbles. Those actually came out pretty good considering it's just graph paper. But the book pages, dictionary, they got color, but they didn't get bubble shapes. But the envelopes did, and the cardstock did, the index cards. That's an index card. Probably oversaturated that one. Anyway, I just wanted you to see what they came out like. Give this a go. Oh, I also dripped with the straw in a few places just so they would look like drips. So give it a try. See what you think. Let me know in the comments if you give it a try. Have fun. Thanks.